All right, guys. So that was really bad on a lot of fronts. We basically didn't get any breaks. We didn't even have the ball half the damn game. I mean,
Right,
I felt like they had the ball for 3 quarters of the game. We could not get off the field.
right.
We didn't get none of the breaks went our way. Everything went their way. I put out a reaction tweet like I do after every game. My thoughts. The Harrison Bryant fumble, so we lost the turnovers. We knocked the ball straight up in the air. Nobody's there. Mac Wilson decides that he needs to tackle Josh Jacobs instead of looking up when there's a deflection and actually having
Right,
awareness and actually
right.
catching the ball. Mac Wilson and Taki, man, like, I mean, the verdict is going to be out real soon on these guys because they are just
Yeah,
getting blocked.
yeah,
They're getting blocked out of their mind, and they're not making plays. There you go. So
yeah.
so our defense is buttery soft. Miles Garrett's not playing half of it because he's apparently injured. We're not rushing. We're not sending any type of like interesting looks. And at the end of the game, I mean the Raiders didn't have to do anything but literally just run ISOs right up the middle, and Josh Jacobs is getting 6 yards. So we were dominated, dominated at the line of scrimmage. You know, guys jumping off the line, face mask penalties on big plays. The opening drive, the first play of the game, opening drive, first play of the game, and you do a face mask penalty to put them at midfield. We're lucky that they only got a field goal out of that. So they were able to salvage that drive. Offense
Yeah,
can't
no
really
one,
do anything.
nobody stepped up. I
No
mean,
plays. Nobody did
Baker
anything.
was okay,
I mean,
especially
Dad, Baker threw the ball and hit the
right,
receivers in the hands, in the numbers.
right.
The first play he threw it behind Njoku. I got it. That was on Baker. The first pass. I'm going to be hard pressed to go back to look at every one of his passes to find another one that he just flat
Flat
out
out missed.
missed.
Right.
Flat out missed or wasn't intentionally throwing it in a place where like either it's incomplete or only we can get it, which is he kind of threw one to towards Jarvis at the end of the game to do that. I mean, we lost. So everything that I talked about ahead of it, we lost on offense, we lost on defense, and we lost on special teams. They made their kicks, we didn't.
Right.
We missed
Right.
ours. We got dominated on defense. We basically never had the ball to be able to do
Right.
anything. So our defense is worn out. Our offense is cold, literally cold.
Yeah, we touched the ball once in the second quarter, once in the third quarter, and once in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
That's
We made the Raiders. We made the Raiders feel like they were playing a home game.
yeah,
That was it. And then we get boned on because Jarvis drops the touchdown, which he did. It looked in real speed. It looked like he caught it. And then when they played it back, you could clearly see that he fumbled it
so did the
in the
other
air.
one. The other one hit the ground too.
Yeah.
But
So
they
what?
give them that one, they don't give us ours.
Yeah, I think on the Renfro run, I mean, I disagree with the ref's call. I think it was. I think you can't give them that because they had one. There was one angle that they showed coming off of the commercial break, and it was a long angle. So it was from the side of the field, and it was far away. But if they would have slowed it down and zoomed in on that angle, you could clearly see that the ball hits the ground, and he adjusts his grip underneath it. And to me, that means it's not established. Like he didn't establish possession, or he did, and then when it hit the ground, he had to reestablish. So to me, that's not a touchdown. I lost my dad. To me, that's not a touchdown. But so we get boned there too. I mean, it was like everything that could go wrong. I mean, when Njoku's dropping a ball that hits him right in the hands. I mean, the touchdown at the end where Baker zipped it to Jarvis and he got hit by 3 guys.
Right.
I'm not gonna really get. I think they played it well and they hit him hard, and in the cold like that, he drops the ball. I mean, we'd love to see Jarvis make those catches. I mean, he made that crazy one-handed catch after those drop passes. But I mean, it's great to have circus catches. It really is because it helps. But if you're dropping balls that just hit you right in the hands, I mean, this is professional sports. You have got to catch those balls. And I get it, it's wet. I get it, they're cold. I mean, I get it, but like the Raiders,
they got gloves on. I mean, we didn't play with gloves when I was a kid. When I was in high school and college, I mean, we didn't play with gloves. So I mean, it's there's no excuse. I could see making a hard circus catch, yes, but not when they hit it in your hands. And Njoku let the ball go through his hands, hit his chest, and bounce away. And even the TV announcer said, "Hey, you got to catch it with your hand."
We can't win games. You can't win games when Jarvis, and Njoku, and Kareem Hunt are all dropping passes left and right. It was like every other pass. Yeah, and Bryant fumbles it. And then everything that David Carr threw, those little tiny dink and dump passes, because he didn't beat us over the top. It wasn't like he heaved the ball downfield. No. He just threw these little tiny soft little passes that they wore down our defense. And Joe Woods is incapable at this point of making adjustments to stop that. They ran through us like butter, and then they dink and dunked, including that touchdown. And by the way, when they re-showed that touchdown, the Renfro touchdown, 2 guys were wide open. There was another guy on the right side of the field who was wide open by 5 yards in every direction.
The 2 things I can't understand to this day are, if you know they're going to run the ball, especially because the wind is really bad and they want to use up the clock, why wouldn't you put 8 men in the box?
The Raiders did.
And put, not, and I don't mean 4 men down and 3 linebackers that are playing 5 yards off the ball. Put those 3 guys in the gaps and look like you're going to blitz, look like, whatever. Yeah. Do it at the last minute so they can't change the play, and you're going to stuff the run. Now, if you get beat at the line of scrimmage, you got one safety that has to make the final catch if the guy breaks through for a long run. But you can't sit there, let the guy get 5 yards, hit him, and then let him fall forward and get another 3 yards. I mean, if I saw that play once, I saw it 10 times in the game. The other one is you're at the 5-yard line, like on that last third and goal. Mm-hmm. Why are the guys playing 10 yards deep in the end zone? You can't defend the end zone 10 yards deep. You have to defend it, up at the line of scrimmage, man on man, make them, throw it so that the guy has to fight you for the ball.
The reason why is because Sendejo's he's terrible. So the other one to Ruggs, I think that Ruggs' catch was a touchdown.
Yeah, could have been.
I think it was. I think they gave us a gift. They gave us a gift on that one, because there was clear when they showed that his foot on slow motion and they zoomed in on it, there was clearly a centimeter of line of green in between his foot and the line. So they missed that call, and the reason why is because Sendejo can't cover anything. So they were like, you know what? It's almost like Sendejo's out there just because they give us 11. It's almost like we're playing with 10.5 players.
10 players. You're playing a guy 30 yards deep, guarding absolutely no one. Yeah. And it's 11 on 10.
And even if he is back there, it's still, I mean, Sendejo stepped up and made a couple tackles today, which was like, wow, he actually tackled somebody. But if that's the barometer, it's like, oh, you made 2 tackles? Yeah, after 7 or 8 yards.
Down the field. I mean, that doesn't do you any good whatsoever. I mean, Hunt had a good game. He dropped at least 1, right? So I mean,
no, he dropped a couple. He dropped at least 2 that I remember, if not 3.
And he had no help, meaning Johnson didn't come off the bench. Hilliard didn't run any plays. So they used him the entire game. I don't know how tired he was or whatever, but he still was fairly effective on a couple of runs where he had 10, 12 yards. Nothing, beyond that. Yeah. But, the play calling was suspect. He missed 2 field goals, right? Or
no, just 1.
One?
Yeah, 1, and he got the other one.
Oh, okay.
They missed 1.
Yeah, he missed 1 and got 2. But the one they needed to make at the end, he knew the ball was going to be going to the left.
That's what I said. I'm like, why are you trying? Like, if play the ball off to the right. Right. Like, are they sitting there not watching the same thing we're watching? Does Prefer not go up to Parkey and say, "Hey, dude, play it off off the right goalpost and just let it fade in"? Right? It's not like they were 50-yard field goals. It's not like they were 50 or 60-yard field goals where it's just like praying.
Right. Yeah. We couldn't even catch the break with the weather. When we had the ball,
it was coming down. It was coming down like cats and dogs.
Right. And then they get the ball, and all of a sudden there's no wind. It's sunshine. There's no sleet.
Well, that's what happens when they have the ball for 75% of the game.
Right.
They had the ball the whole game. It was Lindsay was even saying, she's like, I felt like I just watched the Raiders play today. That's how bad it was. There was no consistency on offense. Because that's what happens when you're dropping the ball. Like the Raiders dropped 1 or 2, and I was like, oh my God, what a miracle. They actually have to struggle. And then the next play, they rush for 7 yards up the middle and get the first down. It's like, guys, or Derek Carr, one of the slowest quarterbacks in the league, rushes for the first down. So I look at it, and then Myles Garrett's out half the game. Jedrick Wills with all his false starts. I mean, guys, we had them going in the first half. It was a close game. It was a good game in the first half. But when you cannot score touchdowns in this league, when you have opportunities, Harrison Bryant fumbling on that first drive effed us. It really did. It's an opportunity. We're deep into their end zone, and we have an opportunity to continue to actually put points on the board, and we failed. We failed to execute on offense. We were playing buttery soft on defense. That zone, I mean, they were open every time. They just ran a little curl route and fell into the pocket where there was a soft spot, and Derek Carr just played backyard football and just threw little sidearm passes to him. And then when we did pursue, they called the perfect play. They would call a screen pass when we over pursued. It was just we got beat by a better team today. And
we got outcoached because they didn't make any adjustments. The guys didn't stay home on the edge. They let Carr run that 15-yard play down, almost scored it, on the end zone. They got outcoached too. They just, when your team lets you down, like you said, in all facets, dropping the ball, offense, defense couldn't get off the field, special teams didn't play well. You can't win those games, and they just didn't have any real answers. And you can't put time back in the hourglass. Once they use up that much clock, they clearly had to kick that field goal at the end that would have given them a chance. But I don't know if they would have stopped them. They couldn't even stop them. I guess they had given up at that point because they knew they were 2 scores down. And used up all their timeouts. But still, it was that's one of those, you look back, I hope we don't lose the playoffs by not getting in because of that game.
Well, I mean, we should have lost to the Bengals. If we're all really being honest with ourselves, we probably shouldn't have won the Bengals game. And today wasn't a game where we were going to be able to pull out a miracle. The weather wasn't going to allow us to run down the field in a minute and 6 seconds.
Right.
And then get the ball back again and then kick another field goal in the bad side of the field. Right? We had everything going against us in the last 5 minutes of that game, including the fact that we got the ball back with like 4 minutes and 30 seconds down 2 scores. Right. That's what it is. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what it is. I don't know.
Wills, how many false starts? Wills had at least 3 false starts.
Yeah.
3, including one at the end where we were on the 10-yard line and got moved back to the 15, then to the 20. I mean, it just, face mask, at least 2 face masks.
Well, Ronnie Harrison has a interception. It hits him in the face and he drops.
Right.
So Ronnie Harrison drops an interception. They knock the ball up in the air, and instead of Mac Wilson looking up and catching it, he decides to tackle Josh Jacobs. So there's your awareness. Taki doesn't make a play ever. So, I mean, Taki is an arm tackling linebacker. Josh Jacobs ran through him like butter as well.
And Miles was
Miles is hurt
non-existent.
half the game. I mean, he wasn't even on the field.
Right. You wonder
Right?
what happened to his knee. He hurt his knee, was out standing there, and then all of a sudden you see him back in, and yet he's got nothing. He's got
Well, I
nothing in
mean,
the
if
tank.
he's if at that point in the field where they're just kind of playing for position, that wasn't. I don't think that was on. I mean, they held him to a field goal. So, I mean, it wasn't like I could call any of that stuff on Miles. And that slant pass that Renfro caught that's on our defensive backs playing soft. Guys, you can't there's two receivers and there was 2.5 defenders because we had a linebacker over there as well. Two of our guys go to one guy and left the guy underneath. He throws a little slant and Renfro just follows forward. That was the other thing. I don't know if you just mentioned this or not. I don't remember, but how many times we tackled the ball back, like we tackled the ball and they continued moving forward 3 or 4 yards.
Yeah, I yelled at one where one of the linebackers grabbed him. Instead of holding him and pulling him back, he decides to wrestle him to the ground and he throws him forward for 3 more yards.
Yeah, 3 more yards, right. Yeah, that was Goodson. I remember that.
It was an 8-yard play.
And then Kareem Hunt breaks off a great run to the left side, and they grab his face mask and they don't call it at all.
Right.
And I'm sitting there, I'm like, how can we all see this and the refs don't see it?
And jump off side. How many times did we jump off sides too? I mean,
yeah. Well, they jumped offside a couple times too, but we still we lost on penalties, we lost on special teams, we lost on defense, we lost on offense. That's the game, and then call it coaching as well, because their defensive coordinator played us really tough, and their offense played us perfectly. Right. So I mean, we deserve to lose. I can't wait to see what the scores are, the PFF scores with Mike on Wednesday. I can't wait to see these because I have a feeling they're going to be god awful on defense. I'm getting really frustrated with Taki and Mac Wilson. And if Mac Wilson's injured, if he's not at 100%, fine. I'll give him actually a little bit of a pass because he's probably playing not at 100%. But Taki does not have an excuse. He's just not good.
Right.
There. I mean, and
Steelers won 28-24, came back and won the game.
That actually is probably better for us in the long run.
And the Bengals beat the Titans 31-20.
That's really good. That's good for us as well.
Vikings beat the Packers. The Bills beat the Patriots. And the Dolphins are killing the Rams 28-17.
So the Dolphins will be 4-3. The Raiders will be 4-3. The Browns will be 5-3. And
Colts beat the Lions pretty bad.
I mean, here's the deal. We have if we go 5-3 for the rest of the season, we're 10-6, guys, and we're in good shape. If we have 5 wins, I think there's definitely at least 4 wins on the schedule with the Giants, the Jets. I think the Jags are wins, and then the Titans the Eagles or the Texans would give us that 4th win, right? And then you got to beat the Eagles. That's 5. But we got to somehow figure out a way. Like that's why this game was so important because it made it so we only had to win 4 more games because there's a really good chance.
But even if we won it. Say we, by a miracle, we pulled it out at the end and maybe got hit to overtime or whatever. With the players that we have now, granted, when you go from scoring 30 plus points a game to scoring 6 or 9 because of the wind and the rain and sleet and everything else, and your guys drop the ball, you're not a playoff contending team. You might squeak in by the mercy of the other teams playing lousy and not having as good a record. But if you don't really have a shot in the playoffs, you're better off saving a draft choice or a draft position and going from there. So, I mean, Ara says Njoku is gone. He should be gone after what he played today and dropping that pass. I mean,
I don't know where he's going to go. Who's like, draft high, sell low? What are we going to get for him? What
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
who's going to be who's in the David and Joku marketplace right now? Going, you know what, Browns, we really need to make this trade. A guy who's it's not like he's putting up crazy numbers, and he's going to be expensive because we picked up his 5th-year option. So if we're
Well, yeah,
trading that contract, he's going to be an
you hope,
expensive tight end.
you hope that the other teams are now starting their fire sales. Tuesday's the trading deadline, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
So we, if we don't upgrade uh, between now and Tuesday with defense, I think the offense can handle it, especially with getting Chubb back. But we ain't going anywhere with that defense. I mean, it's just too bad. It can be exploited. They can see our weaknesses and they go right after it, and we can't make any adjustments. I don't know if they show blitz one time during the game. I, I don't believe they did.
Probably, but I mean, if it was, it was soft.
Right.
I mean,
Or they came up to the line and then looked like a blitz and then they backed away. The defensive coordinator did not come up with a very good game plan, and certainly didn't adjust things to the weather conditions and to what they were doing, running the ball. When you touch the ball only 3 times in 3 quarters, you're not going to win the game. You're just not going to win the
he
game.
couldn't get us the ball back. All right, so far our defense, guys, this was points wise was the best points wise game all season. Points wise. But that's not that doesn't tell the story. Like, it doesn't tell the story of the game. The story of the game was time of possession and then failed execution on offense. And
Absolutely.
then penalties, it was penalties, drops, missed field goal, and time of possession. We couldn't stop the Raiders offense. We made them look like they were playing a home game. They were completely comfortable, in control the whole game. And then when we had 3 opportunities for turnovers. One was the ball that hit Harrison in the face that he drops, which again it was snapped at him pretty quickly, but still you got to catch the ball. Hits you right in the face. Harrison drops one. The second one was when Mac Wilson decides to tackle instead of looking up in the air. And then the third one is when Derek Carr is running down. I think it was on the drive that I don't know if it was on the drive that they scored the touchdown with Renfro, or if it was the one where they ended up kicking the field goal at the end. But he fumbles it. There's 3 Browns around it, and a Raider falls on the ball. And then Harrison Bryant turning the ball over as well. It's like we lost the turnover game. We had missed opportunities. We couldn't execute. We couldn't score touchdowns. And we let a team come in and just basically have their way with us. There wasn't a time in this game that I felt like we were in control at all.
Right.
At all. And Brown's Twitter is pissed. I mean, people are fired up right now. I'm looking at this. People are really, really upset.
Yeah.
So,
well,
I mean,
we need players. We need better players. We have mediocre players that play mediocre, make a play every once in a while, but that's not going to save you your job in the NFL, and it's not going to win you games. We need to upgrade, and I just don't know how you do it at this point. Maybe you get some free agents, you spend some bucks, but if not for this year, for next year, it's never too early to upgrade your team, especially if you're in the hunt. And maybe you auction off a draft choice or 2 that gets you a starter that you can put right in the lineup, because the draft choices aren't doing us any good, and neither are the current players. So, and we know it's all on the defensive side. 16 points. God, if we had scored 30, we would have won the game 30-16. But that wasn't the case. You can't score points if you're sitting on the bench.
So I don't know if Miles got hurt or Miles is like nursing.
Well, they announced during the game that he got hurt and went out. And then the next time I saw him he was standing with his his cover on, and wasn't actively trying to get back in the game. So I thought he was nursing some kind of injury, but then shortly after that he went back in again. So
Yeah.
I don't. If you're hurt that bad to go out, maybe you just need a little bit more time to make it feel a little bit better. He was in the fourth quarter. He was in during that drive when they went 75 yards they went. I mean, and then the guy whoever it was, threw the ball back on the punt. He threw the ball back into the playing field, and he was up in the air. He was clearly up in the air. I don't know where he took off from. If he took off and his foot was in the end zone, well then, yeah, it's a touchback. But we couldn't even win that. We couldn't even win that thing from the refs. They put it at the 20-yard line.
Yeah, I'm looking through, and I was looking on Twitter, and at the Browns tweeted at the end of the third quarter, the game was 6-6. So we lost the game in the fourth quarter, and we lost it because the time of possession. We had the ball for 22 minutes. They had it for 37 minutes. Almost 38.
Look at the number of plays, Mike. It was like 65, 68 to 32.
Yeah.
It was brutal.
I mean, it was just total plays. Total plays 71 versus our 47.
But when you miss a field goal, that's a turnover. They had one they missed. That was a turnover. So that equaled. We fumbled the one, didn't recover it. Miles put no pressure on him whatsoever. So he was basically.
It was Olivier Vernon got to him twice, which was nice. Nice to see Olivier
early, and then
producing.
We made two good plays on defense, and then we give up something down the middle, or we let the edge open and he runs for 12 yards, 13 yards.
This zone defense that we're playing, it just seems so easy to beat. And that's why every team does it. Every team can beat us when you're just finding soft spots in the zone. Third down efficiency. They were 8 for 14. We were 3 for 10.
Mm-hmm.
Penalties. They were 5 for 25. Us 7 for 59. Fumbles lost. 0 for them. 1 for us. I mean, it wasn't. And it doesn't say drops. I'd love to see that. I don't have a number of drops, but I think the Raiders. I don't know if the Raiders actually dropped the ball that was like actually perfectly thrown. I mean, one or two hit their hands, but I don't know how. There was one that was really bad.
Second down or a third down, and it was like, oh God, he dropped the ball. Thank God, otherwise it would have been another first down. Now, did they get the first down after that? I can't remember, but. That was the only one that I saw that they.
Josh Jacobs carried the ball 31 times.
Sure, yeah, and he was a horse.
Times. So
they just could not. They would not move those linebackers into the gaps. To
well, even when they did you hear Spielman? They're like, look at this. When the guard is pulling and still leading, it being the lead blocker for your running back, their guard pulled through a hole. When a guard pulls, if they do see somebody in front of them, block them. But a lot of times what the guard's trying to do is, if a guy's coming one way, they want to push them to the side. You're pulling to almost pinch that guy and continue them moving in one direction. Their guard was getting through the gap and acting like a fullback. You can't stop that. So we got beat. We got beat on the defensive line. When the defensive line did make good plays, they had face mask penalties, which not only negated the great play that you had, but then you give them 15 yards and an automatic first down on top of that. I mean, those are soul crushing penalties. It's not like an offsides here and there. Those are drive continuing penalties, putting them in massive advantages. This was I don't know. The 3 games that we've lost this year, we have looked horrid. So I really don't know what they're gonna have to readjust in the bye week. They got to readjust and redetermine who they are as a team, because right now they're not a playoff team. You
can't readjust for poor players. That you can try to coach better. You can try to have a different game plan. You can hope that the weather and the refs don't kill you. But if we don't upgrade linebacker, maybe even defensive end, to give Miles some help, and a really good safety, we're just mailing it in for the rest of the year. Hope we make the playoffs so we get that record off get off the schneid on that. But we'll lose in the first round of the playoffs, and it probably won't even be pretty. So you have to hope that our guys stay healthy and we can get through the season. But if they don't make some plays to bring in better players, it's not going to be a very good thing to watch them.
And now we have to dwell on this. Now we have to dwell on this for 2 weeks. I mean, this is like, again, this is a young and emotional team. When we were 4-2, and Baker's like, this is a 4-2 team, and it feels like we're 0-6.
Right.
Now we're 5-3, and it's probably going to feel like we're 0-6 or 0-7. We have such highs and lows that I just don't know how these guys are going to recover during a bye week.
Yeah, you look around the league and you look at others. You look at, Baltimore lost. They had a chance to win it. They were winning with, 5 or 6 minutes to go in the game, and I don't know how Roethlisberger brought him back, how he won the game, but their vaulted defense couldn't stop Pittsburgh when it had to at home. Miami wins against the Rams. Unbelievable. I mean, a rookie first NFL start, and they killed him on the first play. They knocked him for a loop and they made him fumble. But give credit to the kid. He hung in there the rest of the game, and he won the game through 1 or 2 touchdown passes. The Bengals win. They beat the Titans at home, handily too. It wasn't like they pulled it out at the last second. The Bengals beat them the entire game, I think. It'd be interesting to look at Burrow's numbers. I'm sure he played a great game. So those teams got to be taking a step back and look at themselves. They were all supposed to win, and they all lost. The only one that could hold their head up maybe is a little bit Baltimore. They played the Steelers tough, but one of their key linebackers got thrown out for fighting. Lamar Jackson threw 2 bad interceptions.
Yeah.
One in the first quarter, I think, got intercepted at like the 15-yard line. I think the guy ran it in for a touchdown. It was a pick 6 or something. So, I mean, he had a terrible game, and yet they still hung in there. But, who knows? I think the Steelers are going to walk away with it now because they got a very easy schedule. And, ours is, one of the easiest as well, and we still can't win. So that tells you something too. We just don't have, and we knew it from the first snap when we had preseason, possibly on the board, which went away. We didn't get any preseason games. We knew we were desperate at linebacker. Now, would have Schobert been better if we'd signed him and gave him the money? He would have been a little bit better. Obviously, he's in on every tackle and everything, but he's not your outstanding linebacker that's going to win.
Joe Sherbert's got like a 36 PFF score for the year. Like
he's not doing anything.
He's not doing much.
He's getting paid a lot of money.
Yeah.
And that's why the Browns didn't want to pay him. But I mean, we didn't have a very good backup plan. I don't know how aggressive we were in trying to, get that linebacker that we needed. But and then we lose. We lost Wilson there for 3 games or whatever. He was on the sideline.
The plan this year was to have Jacob Phillips, Grant Delpit, and Greedy Williams are 3 guys from LSU were supposed to be out there playing on defense. They aren't, and there is a massive talent gap that we have. So that's apparently the story right now. And that's a problem for us. So I've been thinking about this team for a while, and although we've got a good record on paper right now, I think this is an iffy playoff team. Because the second half of the season, I bet the Bengals look good. The Bengals look really good. They played us tough. They should have beat us. They just beat the Titans.
Miami's now 4-3.
Miami looks good. The Raiders beat us. They're 4-3. So if it comes down to Raiders or us at the end of the season, guess what? Tiebreaker. Boom. There you go. So it's just today was a bad day. And I apologize, guys. I'm gonna have to cut this one short. It smells like there's burning plastic somewhere in my house that I gotta figure out.
Go.
I can't figure out where it is, and it's freaking me out.
Okay. Go, Mike.
But let's do this. I apologize for everybody for the giveaway. We'll do the homage T-shirt giveaway. We'll move that to Wednesday for the Mike show with me and Restano. I apologize for that, but I really need to figure out what's potentially burning in my house. Bad game, guys. Sucks. We're 5-3. On to the bye week, and then hopefully we get Nick Chubb back and pray for better things.
Right. Go Browns.
All right, go Browns, guys.